Hi, welcome everybody. So we are on Facebook Live and today we are talking about youth activism. Usually our show goes around the world and we try to bring people in from Africa, Asia, Latin America and Europe. But with what was happening in South Africa in the last few days, I'm sure some of you might be aware, some of people are calling it an insurrection, some people are calling it looting, some people are calling it a protest, whatever it might be. What we do know is that young people, young activists had to do something about it. And so we are really very excited to have young people from South Africa in particular talking about the work that they do, the activism that they are involved in, and sharing with us in different ways, under the very difficult conditions, how they manage to organize themselves. What we also have are two people from the creative industries, and I want to thank Pamela, whom we will come to later, who is sitting all the way in Canada, right, Pamela? Am I getting that correct? All the way in Canada, who does amazing work with young people. She's an activist herself. She's part of an organization that she will talk to us about. But I wanted us to understand that whilst we are activists, whilst we might find that it's always about bricks and mortar, we also know that the creative industries is a very special space. And within that space, we are able to support each other. So we also have Tabo, who has created a game. And as a young South African, we are really so impressed with the work that he's doing. And I want him to share the Zuza because of the work you are doing with Waste. See how amazing Tabo's game is going to be. So how do we come together to support each other in the diversity that we are? I also want to say that Indileka Mandela could not join us today because she has load shedding, and Dudu, who is from the Ahmed Kathrada Foundation, is also load shedded. But as soon as either of them can join us, they will join us. So welcome everybody. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the work that each of you are doing. I feel very excited and very honored because as the mama in this group, you know, sometimes we become the aunties, then we become the gogos. It's quite a scary thought. But when I was at high school in matric in 1980, when I was 18 years old, believe it or not, I was detained. I was in prison because of my activism. So I went to jail fighting the apartheid system and the apartheid government and fighting because the education in South Africa was not free and fair. And when I look at what happened in the last few days, I am appalled on the one hand, but I am so inspired on the other hand, because I see young people taking the baton and saying, we need to do something. We need to be active. We need to organize ourselves. And what a wonderful way in which you are doing it. In a positive way, supporting where you can, rallying in the troops in inverted commas, but bringing people to say, how do we defend our democracy? And Irfan, I'm therefore coming to you. I would like you to tell me about the amazing work you do as the Ahmed Kathrada Foundation youth sector. Tell us about the icon, Uncle Ahmed Kathrada, and then tell us the work you guys have done and your very recent Facebook Live where you brought in activists from young and old and you asked them to share ideas about what we can do. Welcome, Irfan.
Thank you so much, Firdaus. It's really an honor to share this platform with you and the many other young people here today. I think it comes at a time when South Africa really has to grapple with some tough questions around whether or not this democracy is working and whether it's serving our people. Yes, I work for the Kathrada Foundation. Kathrada was a very it's hard to describe Kathy, but you know, everyone asks me all the time and I give different answers. But Kathrada was an anti-apartheid activist, a freedom fighter, somebody who was very close confidant to Nelson Mandela, who equally spent time on Robben Island and in many other detained and so on, and by many of the apartheid police during his time. And he partook in many of the various campaigns of the anti-apartheid movement. beyond that, so yes, I work for the Kathrada Foundation. I think I am part of the Legacy Project. And the Legacy Project is basically developing a new generation of Kathradas and Mandelas and so on, who will take forward South Africa today. The youth program is modeled on a movement building sort of model where we're trying to create youth hubs in each community that we work in. And these hubs are meant to be elected democratic youth activist clubs where young people together discuss and debate ideas and look at how do they take forward their communities. And one of the key things we found is that, you know, we can talk at a broader level, we can talk at a theoretical level and academic level, but ultimately it has to have impact on the ground. And the Kathrada Foundation youth program aims to do that by mobilizing, organizing, and building a consciousness among South African youth. So I think, yeah, you're absolutely right in highlighting the fact that our democracy needs to be defended. The foundation has played a big role in a campaign called Defend Our Democracy for the last few months, trying to rally civil society, you know, organizations across the length and breadth of South Africa to take forward and champion change. We've seen high levels of corruption. We've seen how people treat the judicial system, how people have gone about not regarding any laws, and, you know, in fact promoting lawlessness. And I think it's here where South Africa and particularly the youth of South Africa have to say, no, that's not the country we want, and this is the country the country we want to build is built on justice. We know that in South Africa, poverty is one of the biggest challenges. Unemployment for young people sits at over 75% currently. We have inequality that's the highest in the world. We have gender-based violence, it's the highest in the world. So our youth and our youth clubs are involved at a community level in trying to tackle these issues. And we've seen over the last week how they were able to come out, yes, not able to obviously stop immediate looting out of safety concerns, but who had then supported communities in different forms. Others were cleanup campaigns, others were protests demanding government to take action against those that were part of this insurrection. And it's a huge challenge for us as young people today, because on the one hand we want to use this moment to create change, but also to ensure that there's stability so that we can use the systems to our advantage. I would like to share my screen for a moment, just to give you a sense of the Kathrada youth. This is our Facebook page, and I thought it would be best and easiest to show you. There was a few pictures. So, I mean, we've been doing registration vaccine drives, encouraging the elderly to sign up in many of our clubs. We hosted a session with the premier of the province as well, as a means of accountability from civil society and the ordinary people of Gauteng. As you see on screen, hands off our democracy, confront the state capture, fight back, meaning we want to see those who were for years stealing from the public purse in jail. We want an end to violence and to the kind of racism that's spiraling out of control. But we know that all of this is intricately connected. It's an intersectional struggle, one where it's about gender, one where it's about race, and ultimately the economy as well, which needs to be restructured. Unfortunately, today, as we said, it's a very unequal society. It's a society where we have tons of people who are suffering daily. And I think here is just what do we do now as young people to use this moment to demand better, demand change, and demand accountability for those who have wronged us. I can't talk for a whole lot more. I don't know if you have questions specifically to ask me, but the youth program is up online. You can look at our website to get more information around our aims and objectives. But as you said, Firdaus, it's about organizing youth. It's about ensuring that young people are in their communities strengthened so that democracy can be built from the grass upwards. I'll leave it there.
Thank you so much. That's quite amazing. And it's very easy for young people to go onto the website and go onto the Facebook page, particularly, and sign up and get information as they would require. Dudu hasn't joined us yet, and so when she comes in, we'll follow up maybe on anything else from the Ahmed Kathrada Foundation. I would now like to introduce Pamela. Pamela, you with CIFEJ, which is the International Center of Films for Children and Young People. You are on the board. We are very proud of the work that you are doing. Tell us a little bit about CIFEJ and then tell us about your work in particular with young people. Welcome.
Thank you, Firdausi. Thank you for the invitation, and hi everyone. Nice meeting you all. I'm from Quebec, Canada, the French-speaking part of Canada. So I'm sorry for my English. It may be a little rusty, but I'm getting it quite awake for this session today. So I'm in my environment of work with children at the moment, but CIFEJ is actually a network, international network of 46 countries, people who work in children's cinema, either as working for festivals or for production companies that aims to produce quality media content for children, either if it's teaching them to make films or to produce content that are designed for them. So it's a great network that I've been part of for now 5 years, and I'm now part of the board, as Firdaus is just mentioned earlier. So to me, it's been a way to open to the world and to understand how people trying to do the same thing as I do with children are doing in different countries. So we each have our realities of funding and arts and culture and education and learning to know how other people make their ways and have programs that we don't have in our country, or programs that we have here can influence other country as well. So sharing, like it's a great way of learning and sharing to be part of CIFEJ, and that's why I thought that getting involved on the board was quite worth the time investment, and also because we're not able to connect so much by traveling at the moment, getting opportunities even virtually like today to connect with other people and learning from your perspective of mobilizing youth into projects, even if it's not, like as Firdaus said, if it's political or social or artistic, it's still getting them involved. So my organization, which you see behind me, is Le Machin Club. I founded in 2015, and it's devoted to produce children media content by and for youth. So radio shows, short films, video reports on the web. It's really not to teach children to become director or cinematographer, but to get them involved in the world they live with the tools that we have access to today. So connecting connecting with other organizations, make some great and innovative projects happening for children and for youth using cinematography or medias. So that's pretty much what I do. I don't want to take too much time because I could be speaking forever about what I do on a daily basis. So that sums it up. I can share as well my my Facebook page, so maybe you understand better the way I said it. Le Machin Club. It's actually a sort of a played on word. That's can you see what I'm sharing now? Yeah, this is our website. So le machin, machin in French means an object that you don't know how to name. It's sort of an expression to say that thingy, that object. So, and it's a club. So my objective was to create sort of a community of children that would want to be part of mission and projects that would get them to explore the world they live in, the city they live in, the community they're in, but really not teaching them to be cinematographer, but using that as a tool to get them involved in their community and learn to meet people, learn to be, to use the tools, but also to be socially with people through those activities. So that's why we have a physical space and a virtual website and all social media platform, Instagram. Oops, not the right Facebook page, sorry. So this is the Le Machin Club Facebook page, but we have a Facebook page for most of our project as well. So it's really like an octopus sort of organization with so many tentaculars and other projects. So you can look it up to see our YouTube channel and Instagram, and then you can find the other projects through those platforms. So thanks for your time.
Thank you. That is so important. And it's partly what we want to share, even for the other people in the group, is just how we can use the technology, you know, whether it's through storytelling, whether it's creating news from young people's points of view. So when you go out, Disela, you're going to be next. But when you go out and you make a way to talk to people, but you film it and you get it out there, and this is really what we want to do. And I want us to be able to find the opportunity to support each other across borders and know what others are doing. Thank you. So Disela, Justine has your little video that I wanted us to see. And then we've also got your PDF. So you can talk to us as we show it. So Justine, could we please first show this short video, which is just a few seconds? Yes.
Inspiring to see that us as women are able to come together and stand for one another. Me as a 20-year-old girl, we live in a platform that lives digitally. In as much as it works, I feel like there's so much power and there's so much unity, there's so much strength when we're all together and fighting for what we believe in. So thank you so much for showing us how to do things and breaking the barriers that you know we've been taught from a young age. Like you said in the past, it would be the women's fault to do certain things. And you, as our mothers today, guiding us that no, stand up for yourself, fight for yourself, show up for yourself, and it's okay for you to do that. Thank you so much.
Wow. Amanda!
Thank you, Disela. Let's hear what you have done. Extremely good work. Please talk to us, and Justin will show your PDF. Should we put it up as you talk?
Hi. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm having a problem with the network here, so it goes on and it goes off. Good evening, everyone, and nice to meet all of you. I'm really honored to be part of this discussion, and thank you so much for the invitation. My name is Disela. I'm a former refugee. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I'm ambassador of the ex-offenders, and I'm also a founder of the DMF. I'm a social activist dealing with the issues of gender-based violence, femicide, youth empowerment, and skills development. From my previous experiences of being abused, then I realized that after I've forgiven the perpetrator, then I realized that there's a need for me to talk about the issues. Moreover, that women don't want to talk. There are a lot of women who are going through abuse, whether they are from privileged or unprivileged, but very few are able to talk about the abuse that is happening within their families and also that is affecting their own children. The issue of the abuse is escalating. Every now and then there's children, especially youth, young girls that have been killed by their partners, that have been involved into drugs, that have been involved in pregnancy. So that's when I decided that I need to do something about it, about all of this. We have started a youth initiative desk under the Seleme Foundation, which is raising more awareness on educating the youth, because we said we want the youth to start talking, to start speaking up about the issues. And we're saying, can they lead? They lead us. And us as parents, as an adult, then we support them. Because if the youth are not going to get involved, then we're going to have a problem. We don't going to have a future leaders. If they start being involved now, to know what is happening, even in politics, because it is important to know what's happening in the politics, what's happening within businesses, and also sharing their experiences, because I've realized that when it's peers and they talk about the issues themselves, they're free, other than my child come and talk to me or talk to their parents or their sisters, but they share their own issues. And then we said, let's put them together and find out what are their issues. And if we are saying we have unemployment, how are we going to tackle the unemployment? If there's a poverty, if there's drugs issues, pregnancies, how do we also involve the parents to come in? Because most of the things, they start happening from home. Everything starts actually from home, and then the kids at school start being bitter. Hence, there's more of a bullying in our schools. And then the parents are not even involved. They don't even know what's happening with their children. They don't even follow up. And then we're saying, let's come in and see how can we work together in terms of skills development, meaning we're putting them together and having an
Gisele, I think that your network is giving you a bit of a problem there. We're losing you. Are you there? Okay, Justine, that's good that we just go through. You can just go through to the last page, and then we can close that. Thank you. Thank you. I'm sorry. So this is the reality of our situation. But I wanted Gisela to be part of the conversation because I've known her for a few years now, and I've seen how she started as somebody who had been abused herself, but then has managed to uplift herself and work particularly within the prison system, because her ex-husband was a warden in the prison system. And so she has that connection. Justine, I think you can just mute her because that line is coming back and forth. Thank you so much. Tabo, we're coming to you now. So it's again coming back to the creative side. Tell us about the work that you are doing and why in particular you chose this special theme. Welcome.
Hi, everyone. Hi, for those. Thank you so much for having me. Before I start, I was quite nervous actually having to join you amazing people, because I was like, I don't think I've done enough work. You know, I haven't done just as not even enough work as you guys. You know, for me to share this space with you guys. But it's an honor. I really appreciate the opportunity, and hopefully what I do can inspire a change in how you guys do your work. And yeah, let me go. Yeah, I go. So my name is Thabo Tsulo, and I'm from Space Salad Studios. We are an indie gaming studio based here in South Africa, and we have developed our first product called Dopa Dash. Dopa in Zulu, translate it's a Zulu word, and translated in English is called pickup. So it's Dopa Dash, pickup and dash. It's a 3D combat racing game about informal street surfing, informal waste picking community called the Street Surfers, or we call them Street Surfers, but they rather be called the Reclaimers. And what these guys do, they are accountable for 90% of the recycling that happens in the country. They go around neighborhoods, recycling, sorting out trash, etc., to make money and earn a living. So we decided to make a Need for Speed version of what they do because we think it's very cool. We hope that the game teaches children about recycling, climate change, global warming, the difference between renewable material, the money that they could potentially make, because I think it's Ifran, he mentioned that the unemployment rate is pretty high in the country. So we're looking at using gamifying what these guys do in order to encourage children or the youth to make money out of recycling, and getting more of the youth conscious about the environment and their habits, and hopefully they can change their habits to save the planet, and above all, just to make it fun, because what's the point of learning if it's not fun? Or how do you get kids to learn more? So yeah, I think in this case, we took an environmental stance in a form of activism. And I'd like to show you guys the game that we have. I have my brother here to play with me. I just wanted to show you guys that we managed to get it to a multiplayer base. So let me just share my screen quickly. And I just wanted to say that the soundtrack that you're going to hear has been designed in-house. It's the first game to have an Amapiano soundtrack. For those of you who don't know, Amapiano is like one of the biggest genres to come out of the country, and it's making its way international. So watch the space. Maybe you might hear our DJ in Ibiza. So pretty much we've gamified what these guys do in real life. We've turned it into a game. There's a single option between single and multiplayer. Go for the multiplayer. So as I don't know if I went into detail, but what these guys do is they wake up early in the morning to race against the pick it up truck drivers who's the government, or they're the guys responsible for waste management in the country. So that's the time trial. The next one is a race. So they race against other street surfers to get to the most lucrative parts of town where there's enough trash to make more money. And then there's elimination, where it's more competitive. So I'm gonna go for normal race. We have different tracks to choose from. We have one in town, we have the junkyard, and we have Anderson, which is the wasteland. But I'm gonna go for junkyard because I don't know, I'm more confident than that place. So I'm gonna choose my characters. We've really thought out the characters and the stories and what they represent. And because we're planning on taking this globally, because recycling is such a global issue, and there's so many of these informal waste pickers all over the world, we're trying to associate certain materials with each character and their story. So we have one dealer who's part of the paper gang. We have Azania, who's part of the plastic gang. We have Nomkita, who's the strongest, and she's under the metal gang. And then we have Silo, who's part of the glass gang. And we just featured a new character. His name is Mohau, who's part of the can gang. So he's responsible for collecting cans. So I'm gonna go for Azania because she's young, she's cute, and she recycles plastic. And that's something that I'm really conscious about. So, Neo, Nomkita. You want Nomkita? Yeah. All right. So he's going for Nomkita. So there we go. The nice thing about the game is we've also tried to include people of our own color, because you find that a lot in games that we marginalize. So you don't find a lot of characters or main characters of color in like the games that you see, whether it's AAA, whether it's indie. So we trying to change that by developing characters that can relate with other peoples that are not supported or not represented well in this industry. So that's what you see. And I don't know if you guys can see, but Azania has a paper plane. So she just, in these bags, there's like waste material that you can reuse at the end of the game, and they count as your cash count. So if you want to, we've thought about including or using the 3 R's to our advantage in this case. So as the player, I can choose to hold on to this weapon and just keep on collecting other trash. So that's me recycling. I can reuse this weapon, so I can use this paper plane as a weapon to shoot Silo. So that's me recycling. And then reducing, I guess, it's just picking up, not doing anything at all, and just trying to get as many trash bags as possible. So as you can see, the Silo has used the plastic bubble wrap. I'm using it as well to protect me as a shield. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't want to go over time, but you can get the game online on itch.io. I will leave the link in the chat box. I think Nell beat me, but it's fine. I'm just giving him a chance because we're on the F show. I don't want to embarrass him on national, or what's this, on Facebook in front of the whole nation. So yeah, thank you so much for listening. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Tabo. Do you have the one with this brings us all together where you have the music? Because we didn't hear the music. So do you have just a little clip that I can see and show everybody? You're on mute. So if whilst you want to find it, we can go to Tin Swallow and come. Ah, there you are. Wow.
That's it, folks. Thank you so much. But I will leave the links.
The next time we meet, we're going to be playing the game against each other, whether we're on F Show or Facebook or wherever it might be. Maybe
Please.
The Ahmed Kathrada Foundation and Tin Swallow and the Rebuild team. So welcome, Tin Swallow. Let's hear the wonderful work you guys are doing. Tell us about yourself and what you've been doing in the last few days to get South Africa rebuilt and stepped up. Welcome.
Thank you for those. Good evening to you, the panel, and your viewers. So my name is Tsonswalo. I'm not an activist, guys. I'm not an activist like you guys. I'm new on the scene. You guys have done so much. Like, I feel underqualified sitting amongst you guys. So I'm from Step Up South Africa. We were born from Rebuild South Africa. You're incorrect in saying that we were born from Rebuild South Africa. And how that came about is, after what's been happening in our country from all the looting and everything, one asked himself that, what can one do? You know, what can we change? Because someone said to me the other day that, Tsonswalo, the thing about us South Africans, when tragedy strikes, we come together. We know how to stand together when tragedy strikes. And honestly, when I say I'm new in this, guys, this started last week. It literally started last week, Tuesday, and the community we have, the team I'm a part of, the organization I'm a part of, Step Up South Africa, it is such a wonderful team. We've done so much in such a short amount of time. How it started is, once everything had started calming down last week, Rebuild South Africa was made. And what you call it, we said, you know what, guys, we can't just sit down and sit back. What can we do to take the country forward? Because so many people have started losing hope. So many people have started losing confidence. Depression, mental depression, health is a big thing in our country. And what just happened would just make it worse. So it's like, no, guys, let's give people hope again. Let's give people faith again. Us as South Africans, we know how to rebuild. So many countries have had tragedy, but stood up. So we want to be part of that stand and that change that happens. So I posted on Rebuild South Africa last week, Tuesday, saying that, you know what, I'm going to Alexandra, I'm going to go clean. On the Wednesday, I went into Alexandra. The military was there, so I knew it was safe. The police were there, I knew it was safe. So I went and I spoke to the head cop that was on duty. And he's like, no, Tinsolo, man, if you guys want to come clean, you guys are more than welcome to come clean. Just identify yourselves so we know who's who. But we'll watch you, we'll protect you, because what you guys are doing, it's good work. It's something that's helping the country come clean. I went back that night. I posted back on all the pages where I posted, I'm going to clean, on the groups. And I'm like, guys, it's safe. The military is there. They're going to guard us. The police are there. Let's go clean. On the Wednesday, on the Thursday, 7 members came out, and was more females than guys. And I was like, wow. And they were not scared, from all different walks of life, guys. All different walks of life. They're like, let's go clean. So we went out there. Luckily, the community was there as well. Pick It Up was there. So it was literally an hour and a half. We took pictures. It was fun. And we all went back to post. Come Saturday, wow. I think that's when things just started happening. We went to Tembisa to clean at Cambridge. We had a soup kitchen and we had a cleanup team. Soup kitchen was pushing the operation with food and soup. And then the cleanup team, what was cleaning up, we had a convoy of cars, guys. South Africans came out. South Africans literally came out and said, this is us. This is what we want to do. This is something we want to be part of. And we formed a community within 3 days of 600 members. So we've got 3 WhatsApp groups full. People are like, and they watch, they've been consistent. Sunday, we said, because it was a bit chaotic on Saturday, and we had to obviously observe protocol, COVID protocol. We said, let's split up the teams. We said, okay, at Tembisa, we're going to continue cleaning up. Let's go back to Alexandra and let's give them a soup kitchen, since we didn't do that the last time. That was also a success on both sides. And then that's where Step Up South Africa was formed. We came together and we said, guys, what is the real issues in our country? Why did what happened happen? And we came to the realization that people are really hungry out there. The problem with us is that as South Africans, we don't know how to create jobs. So we said Step Up South Africa's main focus is going to be helping businesses get back on their feet as quick as possible. So you'll see this coming week, there's another mission we took, but I'll tell you about that shortly. So we said, let's help South Africans create business. The main thing is if you give someone a fish, you're only feeding him for the day. And that's the truth. But if you teach him how to fish, you're feeding him for the rest of his life. And that's what Step Up South Africa said. Let's teach people how to fish. Let's teach them how to be compliant. Let's teach them how to become competitive in the market. And this is from an informal trader that's from the side of the road to owning a supermarket one day, employing more people, starting to franchise, starting to get out there. So that's what we started. That's going to be our core, is to focus on businesses, grow businesses. But for now, our immediate term, so our short term was cleaning up. We said, guys, there's enough groups cleaning up. Let's let them continue. Because there are business owners that have lost so much that don't know where the next meal is going to come from. Let's start focusing on them. So we are now in Soweto. We just got to Soweto. There's a warehouse that got looted and burned down with about 8 informal businesses. There's a shoemaker, a dressmaker. There's a malume in the community. He's a community man. He's a community man. He's got a fruit and veg, him and his wife. And he used to give the community food and everything. There's a cell phone owner. And then there was another lady that had a small butchery. So we said, guys, you know what, let's help these people. We went out there on Tuesday, this past Tuesday. Wednesday, we got out a team of professionals to come and scout the place, make sure it's safe for people to work there, and just check the scope of the job. And when I tell you today we began, we've already cleared that place. We've cleared that place out. We're gonna start painting this weekend, and by next week, Tuesday, they'll be operating again. And that's what we love. That's what we want to see happen. As we said, we were born from Rebuild South Africa, and I think that's what rebuild means, is getting everyone back on their feet and seeing how we can sustain that going forward. Thank you, guys.
Wow, thank you, Tinswalo. I think what you've done is amazing. And as you say, you know, just last week, this is what you chose to do, and you see how people can come in and support. Huge congratulations. Thank you for the work that you are doing, really. I want to introduce Zuza now, who is probably a much more senior person in the sector, somebody who has been doing this work for a while. He and his wonderful wife have moved in and out through communities. They work in Alex, they work in other communities. They're now doing Momba Foundation, which is fantastic. So having started off with something that's maybe a little smaller, to build in networks, to build in so much more. We've worked together on the Gauteng Expo. We've worked together on the Nelson Mandela Children's Film Festival. So I want to thank you, Zuza, for the work you both are doing. And please, Justine, you've got the pictures to show. And we have one little video that we wanted to show, which is about 25 seconds. So let's have Justine just show that. And then Zuza, welcome to you.
Thank you, Frados.
Thank you, Justine. And so we have some pictures, and maybe as Zuza's talking, Justine, we can just see the photos. So Zuza, please feel welcomed, and as soon as you wish, you may start.
Okay, thank you so much, Ferdos, for this opportunity. And I would like to greet the leaders on this platform and the viewers as well, the online viewers. My name is Zuza Mbata. I'm the CEO of Momba Foundation, and in business, I'm the CEO of Momba Group, which is a subsidiary of Earthreach. We are mainly in the out-of-home media space. We specialize mainly in street pole advertising. But tonight, I'm going to focus mainly on Momba Foundation. But just to tell a bit about myself, previously I was involved with Hector Peterson Foundation. I'm actually a co-founder of Hector Peterson Foundation. I've worked with the family of Hector Peterson to preserve the name and to promote the name of Hector Peterson. And on top of that, our main objective was to ensure to fundraise for the sake of funding youth projects in various townships. But I've left the Hector Peterson Foundation. Sis Antoinette Sitole, who's the sister of Hector Peterson. I think many of you have seen her. I think you remember the picture of Baba Usemzima, the lady. She's still alive. She's at the Hector Peterson Foundation. Hector Peterson Museum. Anytime when you visit and ask for Sis Antoinette, she's a lovely lady. You will be able to meet her there. And maybe she'll be the one to take you around Hector Peterson Museum. But now about Momba Foundation. Momba, it's actually an abbreviation of my surname and my wife's surname. I would like to apologize on her behalf. Unfortunate, she's not feeling well. She was going to actually to join us tonight. Her name is Nkiase Mondlana Mbata. She's a musician. She's also on radio. She's also an actress. But now Momba Foundation was formed in 2016. And the purpose of us forming a Momba Foundation, it's because we wanted to focus on raising awareness of mild intellectual disabilities, mainly dyslexia. My wife, she's dyslexic, and she's been living with that disability for rest of her life, but she was able to actually to conquer and to be able to succeed. She's also a director in our company, which is Momba. She's also a director at Edrich as well, meaning that she's an example to anyone or everyone who's actually living with dyslexia, that it is possible for anyone to be able to live and to achieve in life. But our aim was mainly to be able to correct misinformation that is there, especially in rural areas and peri-urban areas, which is the townships. Because we have this thing in our areas, especially the Black-dominated areas, whereby we say, or when we see that a young person cannot be able to read or write, we say that person, in Zulu they call it utagata, bewitched, or maybe that person is just stupid. Yeah, but that person, we give them names, terrible names that are belittling.
Just before you
Yes.
continue, you saw that we just showed a picture of Hector.
Oh, yes, yeah. The lady beside Mbuyisa,
yes.
the lady
And
beside Mbuyisa, that's Antoinette Sitole. Yes, that's his Antoinette Sitole. I've worked very much for the longest time with her, since 2005. Now, coming back to Momba Foundation and dyslexia, we want to raise awareness, because we don't even know in our areas what dyslexia is. And there are even no platforms whereby if parents are realizing that their child or their children have some sort of disability, where they can go so that they can be tested, by specialists to find out if maybe they are dyslexic or not, or they are also maybe they do have what is called other mild intellectual disabilities. We don't have those kinds of centers in our townships and even in rural areas. Now, it's a long journey, but we are putting things step by step, because in 2019, at the NASREC, or at the Gauteng Expo, we were able to actually to organize a dialogue. The dialogue, we had about 400 kids, 200 of them are dyslexic. We had to try to get them from the school with the dyslexic kids or mild intellectual kids. And then with the kids who are, from your normal schools. We did that with the purpose of, having them to interact. And by interacting, so that those from the so-called normal schools can be able to understand that there is something called dyslexia, and those kids are just like them. And it doesn't mean that because they're dyslexic, they are crazy or they are stupid. We wanted to actually to address that. And I'm glad that we're able to actually to, to achieve, 400 kids in one place, to be able to be given an opportunity to, to converse, to have a dialogue, and to speak about one, being able to say, look, I am dyslexic, but these are the things that I'm very talented on, those are the we had to do all of that. But we are pushing forward to that the program expands to other parts of the country. in the long run. Yeah. And MOBA Foundation is also involved in community development projects, various community development projects. I'm glad, Dinswalo, that you were involved in Alexandra on Thursday. Tina, we're involved on Friday and Saturday. You guys did the economical part of Alexandra, if I may put that way, which is called Pan Africa. We decided that you guys already have cleaned that part. We are going to do the inner side of Alexandra, and we're able to actually to have support from various community members from Santin. And it was also great to see people from various, or let me say, different racial backgrounds. We had Caucasians, we have Indians, we had Coloureds, and even the communities of Alexander, which is something that I believe it's something that we need to see in our country. And we were doing that because we wanted to actually to correct the negative narrative. Because I mean, what has been happening on international broadcasters has been shown that South Africa has people who are looting. We had to have people now who are going to be showing that we are united as South Africans, and we are here, you know, to correct and change the negative narrative to a positive narrative. And that's what we did as the people. And I mean, immediately, I mean, looting took about how many days, maybe 4 days, but we had to change all of that immediately. And I'm glad that it was not only Alexandrians who stood up, but also people in Davidton, people in Guamashu, people in Umlazi, people in Soweto, even influential people such as Vusinova was able to join us in Alexandra. I'm aware that Prince KP was able to join the other guys in Davidton. Kabelo was, Babalane was in Jablani Mall. We're able to actually to even communicate via the groups with the other leaders that side in other townships to make sure that we bring back dignity in our townships. Other projects.
Yeah. So I mean, I think basically this is the idea, is just how are young people doing what needs to be done to build better. And we're saying that with the pandemic, that's really what it is. We are so far away from each other, but we find the networks, we find the time to come together. And that's really what I wanted to do here. We just have a few minutes left. And so I'm sorry to Zuza that I just need to try to round up. What I normally do at the end of the show, it's the F show. So I ask each one of you to think about what F means for you. Obviously, the F show is my name, Firdaus, but I always say the F for me means freedom. I'm going to go around each of you so you can tell me what F means to you, and then your closing remark, just so that we bring it all back together, and to say that, yes, we have to work in our diversity. That's what we champion. We championing. And also for somebody like Pamela, don't forget, Pamela's not in South Africa, she's in Canada. But some of what we do crosses borders. And so to keep the conversation kind of global, even though we say local as lekker, and we know that we need to keep it local, because that's what we're building. But how do we also find ways to use the creative industries, to use what is here amongst us, amongst yourselves? And Zuza, as you mentioned some of the people, we know, for example, that they are saying it was a DJ that started speaking on the radio station and said some things that really got people agitated or got people to act in a particular way. And I want to remind us that that is what happened in Rwanda, in a very small country where somebody on the radio called other people cockroaches and go out there and kill them. So we must be very mindful of the language we use and mindful of the kinds of platforms that we have. because we all have members, we all have people that we look up to. And some of us as influencers might have many, many numbers of people following us. So we must be very, very vigilant about what we say and how we say it. So I'm going to start again with you, Irfan. In your closing remarks, what does F mean for you? Unfortunately, I've been talking to Dudu and she can't get online because she's still without electricity. But we want to thank her and thank you and the Ahmed Kathrada Foundation. We did show some pictures of Uncle Kathy. I asked Justine to pull that up, just so that we remind each other of the stalwarts, the people who came before us. So thank you, Irfan. Let's go with you.
Putting me on a spot, I think for me, F would be fighting, and rather fighting in context of young people fighting for a better tomorrow and better future. I'd also just thank all the panelists and everyone. I think we have a huge responsibility, learning from the past, learning from the struggles of old, those who have come and before us, but also learning from ourselves. A game like what we've seen tonight is so phenomenal. And for a program that I run at the foundation that is intersectional in nature, that deals with environmental justice, it deals with, accountability of government officials and so many other things, climate justice, it deals with menstrual health, it deals with gender-based violence in many of our community areas. I think ultimately the message is we have to do this together. We can't be doing it in silos, and the only way forward is if we join hands, like the inspirational stories I'm listening to today. So a huge thank you to you for hosting us, but I want to call it a call out to all of the young people here to get in touch. Let's speak and let's have more of these sessions so that we can take the dialogue forward around how we collectively take South Africa forward. Thank you so much.
Pamela?
I would say F for fire, because our house is on fire. And also because fire for passion, it needs a lot of passion to do what we all do. So we need to preserve and nourish our passion. And we need to extinguish the fire of the house.
I like both. Gisela? You're on mute. Can you unmute yourself? Yes.
Yeah. And for me, it's a fight. I'm also fighting for the escalating scourge of gender-based violence and the femicide. And I would also like to say, if we can just come all together from all African countries and put our differences aside and say, what is it that we can do together as one, so we can be able to build our African continent. Is not only about
I'm sorry that this network is doing this to you, Gisela. Justin, can you please mute her and then let's go to Tabo?
So F for me is, I'm glad no one said it. So F for me is future. I'm very hopeful and enthusiastic about the future of the country, the future of the continent, the future of gaming as a whole, of interactive media. I feel that there's a lot of exciting stuff coming, and because the technology has become so advanced and more accessible to so many people, I just can't wait to see what's next for the continent and how, I don't know what role I can play in it. So for me, F is for future.
Lovely. Tinswalo?
F for me would be friendship and family, because that's what Step Up South Africa is about. That's what we have become. We're an admin team of 20 people looking after a community of 600 people that trust us, that's trust. And it's about moving forward together, the relationships we make amongst each other. if they say, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So that's for me, friendship and family.
Zuza?
Yeah, for me, F will be food. Yeah, especially now, under the circumstances we are living in as people globally. A lot of people have lost jobs, and many of others are homeless, lost homes, and so forth. And you know, food, it's our gas. That's what they call it in America, fuel. Yeah. And which means that in any chance we can get, that we are able to buy some food for anyone who's in need, I think it would really help. That's for me, food.
Wow, that is quite profound. Gisela, are you back? Would you like to finish your last words? I think Gisela's network keeps on giving her a problem. I want to thank you all for your time, for your energy, for the amazing work that you are doing. I hope that this would be a network, Irfan. I'm handing this over to you as the foundation, especially to do with what Thabo is doing. I think this gaming industry, Tinswalo, Zuza, this is where you guys sit. You know, if you play the game, it gives you an idea about how we fix the way the things are. And so, you know, it's always through play that we learn, and we learn to be better. I want to thank you, Pamela. I do know that we have a huge time difference between us. So I thank you for being online with us today. I wish you all the best with your wonderful work that you are doing. And to everybody, thank you so much. Thank you for building South Africa. Thank you for building better. Thank you for the games and the work that you are doing. And hopefully we'll see you all soon as we come back to see what we've managed to do in South Africa. Thank you and good night. Goodbye.
Thank you. Thanks.